Welcome to This Is All Your Life. That's sarcastic. Meaning it's all your fucking life. Who gives a shit? No big deal. Overcoming the bullshit to open your heart and mind with Janice Corsano and Holly Corsano. In this episode,
a permanent solution and
Right.
not a good one, because you have to, like, the thing about suicide is that the way they've shown it to me is that our whole point here is to go through and try to get through the things and to heal from them, and this ain't easy. We didn't pick no easy path here. This is,
Right.
and it doesn't matter what you have, like what you brought in, what you brought in, like if you have a lot of abundance money-wise, well, you're missing something in other areas. So
Right.
you don't have to worry about that thing, but you have to worry, you got all these other things.
Right.
So where people think money solves the issue, with this person, that was not the case.
Right.
So that's what's so amazing, like when you think about how we work, or that people always say, well, if I only had this. And a lot of times that's the thing that, well, everyone's working towards, feeling like abundant, like they have enough.
Right.
And then when you get there, then you should feel great.
Right.
So then it's way worse if you get there and you don't feel great.
Right.
Hey, Alls.
Hey.
I think it's been like a month since, because of your shoot and stuff,
Yes.
which means we've been through this whole with the weather going up and down, and today it's colder, but the weather going up and down helped me to lose my voice with the allergies changing
Yup.
and boy, does it make you achy, like,
Oh my goodness.
oh, my body hurts. my body is a screaming.
Yeah.
My eyes are burning, my body's a screaming. I was like, okay, it's beautiful. It's like, what was it, 70?
Yeah.
And then,
I wouldn't know. I was doing overnights.
oh, well, it was like 70. If you missed it, it was like 70. So that part, so my voice is a little bit having an issue, as we can tell, having an issue. So hopefully, now that the weather is, like I always say, the weather is insane, just like everybody. So then
Right.
now we've been through the two eclipses, and I'm not sure the last time when we did the podcast if the eclipses happened yet, but I don't think so, because I think we did the podcast like a month ago.
Right.
And boy, those eclipses were ass-kicking. Fabulously ass-kicking.
Mm-hmm.
They brought up everything again, and made people off the deep end again. And they're tied to the ones that happened in August, those major ones that happened in August. And we're trying to overcome all this stuff, but boy, when you get beat over the head every freaking other minute with stuff, and it's big stuff, and then it's on top of all your daily stuff, it's freaking exhausting.
Right. Well, I've been feeling some days are better than others, but being in New York, in the city, I've been feeling a lot of anxiety there. And if I pop in for a day or two or whatnot and then leave, it feels different. But I've been there for almost 3 weeks now. So I'm actually getting a chance to really feel what it's like.
Yeah, on a daily basis.
Yeah, on a daily basis, and notice different things. It feels way different now that I'm back home for right now, for today.
Yeah, the intensity is it's intense. And I know when I talked to you and you were saying that you were feeling anxious, the anxiety level, and then the people telling me they're either sleeping or they're not sleeping, like it's nothing is like we talk about a lot. There's no middle, so it's like nothing is balanced. So it's all extreme, one side or the other.
Yep.
And people are so off that we're having these mental breakdowns because of the way that we're feeling. It's like we can't take anymore. We just want to hide. We want to crawl into a hole somewhere and just stay there. And it's feeling like, can we ever come out again? It's like, can you ever come out again? It's starting to feel a little intense on the when you go out into the world, you're like, okay, that's been great. Now I got to go back and hide in the hole.
Right.
So for New York and the intensity that you're feeling,
Mm-hmm. Well, mine's weird
is
too.
it making you tired? It's exhausting me.
Well,
And I'm not in New York. I'm here.
Well, so my hours have been like anywhere from 3 p.m. to 3 a.m. or like sliding to 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. For this past week. So
You all off.
so I feel like I've just jet lagged myself.
Well, you kind of did jet lag yourself.
Yeah, so like all last.
Because what was it the week before? Wasn't it day?
The week before that was like a normal day of shooting. So we would be like anywhere between like 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. to wrapping at like 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. or something, like, because you shoot for like anywhere between 12 and 14 hours.
And then it flipped to...
And then it flipped to all nights, which is abnormal. Normally they would do like one night at like the end of the week or something, but for some reason we had to do all nights that one week, so yeah.
So everybody on that poor shoot is...
all over the place.
Yeah, got to be exhausted and feeling a little overwhelmed.
Yeah, and I don't actually know what our hours are tomorrow, so who knows? Yeah.
Now, you weren't supposed to come home this week, but because of the weather...
Out. Yeah, I have a surprise day off.
Woo!
Mm-hmm.
Woo-hoo.
Surprise day off.
Well, that's good. You needed a day off, and you needed a little recoup time.
Yeah.
And hopefully
Which is why we're able to podcast.
Yeah, well, hopefully you'll be able to catch up on your chill a little, get a little more balanced and grounded. Although it's really hard to stay grounded.
I've been noticing that. Well, see, the one nice thing about being in a production where every person has a goal that like equals like an end thing, it's almost like if the people are like working together better than the outside world, because the outside world people are just like in their own bubble, and you can see it a lot when you're driving, because it's like when you're all merging together in one lane and the person next to you like speeds up a little to not let you in, like, where else are you going? Like, where are you going? You're not going to get there any faster. Why wouldn't you just let me in the lane? Also, why did you like speed up on purpose to not let me in? Like, well, there's no point other than you're being a jerk. Like, there's really no point. But so that's like the world. But when you're on a production, it's nice because it's like you all want to be done. You all want to go to sleep. You all want to do a good job. Your name is on it. So you all work together to make a nice thing.
And that's kind of what we're trying to do world-wise. Right,
that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to like put some like parallels here between like world not working together that well. Like something they get a check minus for their abilities to play well with others. It's not good. But
it does feel like, because everyone feels like, we're in the victimizer energy, and everyone feels so, it's like everyone's so sick and tired of taking whatever they feel like they've taken from people, that they're actually being not necessarily very nice.
Right, it's true. Well, I wonder too, it's like when you're walking around, why is it...
No, okay. I'm not saying everybody's like that. But
No. But so when you're walking around, you look at people, and you're just like, if you're in the city, obviously there's a lot of people on foot. You're crossing a lot of lives, right?
Yep.
When you're driving, you got a lot of people next to you if you're in traffic and whatnot. When you're in suburbs, it's less. But it's like each person's, life they're going through, whatever big thing they're going through, and they're in their own little headspace, and like no one seems to be like, they're not on the radar of what anyone else could be going through. So it's like the world is only happening to them.
Well, that's basically how everyone feels. Like whatever's going on with them is so big to them that they can't actually, not every person does this, but
right.
But when you're in that feeling, it's really hard to take on anything else from outside. So you're trying to just get yourself through whatever it is that you're trying to deal with, and because everyone's dealing with so much, whether it be, big, it's big, little, and everywhere in between. And, feeling like you're being pulled all over the place, that we don't really have the patience to, like, we're exhausted. And when people are exhausted, you can't, I don't know if it's harder to think, it's harder to...
Yeah, you're in your own little bubble more. But
Yeah.
I'm just talking about more about like having like compassion for other people.
Yeah, and then that's where, hopefully we're going to do more of that, like that, for everyone to understand that everyone's going through stuff. I
Right.
don't talk to anyone. I don't talk to anyone, but
Right.
that is not
Yeah.
going through something. I mean, I talk to lots of people, but I don't talk to anyone that is not going through something. And it's not just small things, that are overwhelming them. It's
Right.
small things, and then big things, and then small things, and then, but it's all major stuff in major areas of your life, and it's coming up over and over to show you yet again. And a lot of people, like just in our family, we had somebody commit suicide the other day, and then, and on the other side, on one side of the family, we had somebody commit suicide, and then on the other side, we have a person who's fighting for their life with cancer, and they're having, basically they said they didn't think there was much they could do now, and basically sent them home, and it's like the extreme of,
Right.
and both of them are in pain, and both of them are suffering. The person that, committed suicide, that's to do that, you have to be in pain.
Right.
We don't just, kill ourselves for no reason. But a lot of times there's way outs, and we don't see them at the time. And most of the time, it, could be in a moment, because I didn't get the feeling that it was like a thought out, like a whole, like some people are, like that's a depression that they have for a long time, or that's something that they've been going to, or, have a mental illness or whatever, and I'm not sure what their thing was, but I don't think that their suicide was something that they had planned.
Right.
I think it was in a moment of whatever was going on, which is sad because that's a permanent solution and not a good one, because you have to, like, the thing about suicide is that the way they've shown it to me is that our whole point here is to go through and try to get through the things and to heal from them. And this ain't easy. We didn't pick no easy path here. This is,
Right.
and it doesn't matter what you have, like what you brought in, like what you brought in, like if you have a lot of abundance money-wise, well, you're missing something in other areas. So you don't have to worry about that thing, but you have to worry, you got all these other things.
Right.
So where people think money solves the issue, with this person, that was not the case.
Right.
So that's what's so amazing, like when you think about how we work, or that people always say, well, if I only had this. And a lot of times that's the thing that, well, everyone's working towards, feeling like abundant, like they have enough.
Right.
And then when you get there, then you should feel great.
Right.
So then it's way worse if you get there and you don't feel great.
Right.
But it's really about, your happiness and your purpose and your soul, and working on, what you're here for.
Yeah. If there was no money attached to the thing you were doing, would you still do the thing?
Most people know.
Probably not.
Most people know. Because somebody had said to me something about, if you won the lottery, right, would you still do the work you do?
I would.
And I would too. So that's why it was like, I'm like, well, I might not work as much as I do, but then again.
Yeah, you would.
But then again.
I also would.
But then again, that actually may not be true either.
Yeah.
Although it would probably be better for me if I, because that's a thing I have to work on, in being able to take care of myself better. And
yeah, no, I like what I do a lot.
But that's what I'm saying. So if you won the lottery, it wouldn't take, like most people would quit what they were doing.
Right.
Instead of, now I might change it, it gives me a little more time to be able to figure out, like, okay, where do I want to focus? Because there's so many things that I do, and I'd like to, like, pare them down a little bit so I could focus more on some things that I, really want to help people with. But most of them I can't take out because they're all things people need,
Right.
So it's kind of it runs into a conundrum sometimes. But for you, if you won the lottery, you'd be doing the same thing.
Yep.
You might be doing a little bit different, but you'd still be doing it. And for me, I'd still be doing the same thing. So that's the nice part, that at least we do things that we feel like is our purpose, and we have a purpose to do. But it's tough. It's tough out there, feeling like you can't do that. Like the average person isn't able to do that. And however we were able to do that, like working and believing and understanding that everything's possible,
Right.
and not thinking, because did you think it was a big deal to do what you're doing?
No, not at all.
Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, where people like will look at, like, when I say, like, when I said when you guys were kids and
Mhm.
Nicholas wanted to go into film, he wanted to be in acting, wanted to go into film, and you wanted to go be a fashion designer or go to school for fashion. And I remember the family looking and going like, "Oh my God, what a waste of money for college for these two."
Right.
And because I knew both of you, if I thought that was the case, that you guys weren't going to do something with what you were going to school with, I might have said, "All right, guys, we might want to pick something else." But because I knew how you both are,
Mhm.
that it didn't feel like that. So I heard that so many times, like, because a lot of people go to school and they don't know what they want to go for, and even if they do, they don't really have a belief that it's something like film is something that you can't just do.
Right.
Like film is like, so the fact that your brother does film and works
Mhm.
at Emerson, and those were two things that he wanted to do. Like, he wanted to teach, and he
Mhm.
wanted to be able to do film, and he's able to do both of those and doing more of that.
Mhm.
And the thing that you wanted to do, doing the fashion design part, you can still do, but you can't do it the same way because of the accident.
Right.
So and you were always an artist, so you took that because you also wanted to do makeup and hair.
Mhm.
They all went together in your fashion head,
Yes.
your fashion artistic head.
Mhm.
So, but the idea that the people that you work and the jobs that you get would be like next level, in a higher level of most people that do hair and
Right.
makeup. Did you ever think that was supposed to be hard, or
No.
like, do you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
what was your belief about? Like, what did you think about it? Just to give people a little understanding.
Right. Yeah, going into it. Well, okay, so in cosmetology school, I had worked at MAC for like maybe 8 or 9 months, and I was like, okay, well, I like putting makeup on people. Like, I like making people feel nice, but I really don't like the sales aspect and like having hours like decided for me and not being able to like piece out when I want. So I was like, how do I, give myself like this same like artistic ability, like, like be able to do the art but not have a schedule? So I started, it never crossed my mind that it would be hard to figure that out either. So I was like, oh, okay, well, let's see. Like, who do I know that, has worked on like a set or who does photography or who, has like a camera or whatnot. And I just started planning like friend hangouts where we would get together and I'd have my friend's model and we would take pictures and, kind of put like this like little mini portfolio together. And eventually it turned into people with like actual cameras and more expensive gear and like actual lighting being like, oh, we heard that you were good at makeup. We'd like to have you, help us do this shoot. It's just for trade, but
So as you
yep,
started to do what you wanted to do, that you had passion for, and finding
right,
people.
yep. And but the energy behind it, like, so for me, like the energy behind the whole thing is whatever happens, it's not bad. Like, you're always going to be where you're supposed to be and just let it happen, but also be excited about it and enjoy like the process and have a fun time when you're doing it. And then the energy, if you give off like excited, fun energy, it brings the whole vibe of the gathering together. So, and people will want to work with you the more pleasant you are and the more not scared you are. You keep getting called back because, like, if you're good at what you're doing and you like what you're doing,
You're
it
better at it,
it
and
it
people
feels
feel.
good
Yeah,
and
and
people
people
feel.
can feel that.
Yeah. So I kept getting called to do all these different things until one day, I was on a job with my friend who does the Bon Jovi stuff now, and she's his personal now for like 20 years or something, but I clicked with her instantly, and she, really liked how I felt and like trusted me and thought I was a good person and a night, and she kind of like helped me. She like was like, hey, I want you to assist me. You
Right,
know,
and
so
those are being able to feel good about what you do, number one, meeting, and then as you go, meeting people from all over.
mm-hmm.
But because you had the belief in what you did, in the idea that
Right.
wouldn't be hard.
Right. Well, there's also many things where I also have no idea what I'm doing, and I always still just say yes. So like when I
But that's what I mean. Like that's kind of going in blind.
Yeah.
You don't have a clue.
Right, 'cause, like,
but
the
until
fir-
you do it, then you do.
Right, because the first time I was asked to do like a feature-length film, hair and makeup wise, like for not my brother there, you know, it's like, you know, so like with Nicholas, I would be doing, you know, his student films or his friend's student films, and you know, having set experience like that, or you know, when we were acting, having set experience on the other side of the camera. But being behind the camera as a department head, you have a lot of responsibility. Like you have like you're in charge of deciding how people look. You're in charge of keeping track of continuity, which is not easy. You know, you're in charge of, you know,
Right. No, the responsibility is a lot.
the responsibility is huge. And being asked to do that for the first time, like, well, I don't know, 5 years ago now, maybe, I was like, oh, okay, yeah. Oh, this person needs a cut lip. Oh, okay, yeah, I can definitely do that. I have no idea how to do that.
But that's what's amazing about taking on things, like feeling like you have the ability, like you'll
Right.
figure it out.
Yeah, I'll
Like
figure
you'll
it out.
figure it out.
And then there was this other job that I had last year that they were like, oh, well, so all these people need wigs. I've never bought like a proper wig in my life. I had to like give it a haircut. One of these wigs was like a $700 wig, and I had to give it a haircut. I was like, oh, I hope I don't mess this up.
But those are the things where people wouldn't take the risk to do that.
Mm-hmm. No one dies. It's just a wig, guys. It's fine. We're not performing surgery.
Thank God.
Because you have to
But-
remind yourself, it's like it's not that big of a deal if you take a step back and you take your anxiety and your fear out of it. If someone who did a good job and you know that they can do a good job does it and it's easy for them, then chances are you could probably also figure it out.
Right. And it's not like you can't ask people.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Oh, there's Google. There's
Yep.
YouTube.
There is all kinds of people to ask.
There are people that also know, you know what I mean? So it's like you're never alone in the process either. You just have to not be afraid to ask for the help too.
Right. Because a lot of times we're afraid to ask for help because we don't want people to think we don't know what we're doing.
Right. When really, at the end of the day, it's like, I want this to be awesome for everyone, and I want to do a good job. I don't care if I don't know what I'm doing. I want to do the best I can do, so I'm going to go ahead and ask.
I'm going to ask, I'm going to research, I'm going to do
Yeah.
everything that I need to do.
And I'll also tell people, I have never done this before, just so you know. So if you see something that's a mistake, tell me.
Which is, putting yourself out there and letting them know.
Yeah.
And that's like with everything. But most people are afraid to do that because they're afraid people will think, well, then why we're not going to give her the job.
Why are we hiring you? Yeah.
Right. Why are we hiring you?
Yeah.
But when your energy is excited about doing it and I'll figure it out and, you've done so many other things and figured them out,
Mm-hmm.
then why wouldn't they?
Right.
They get excited about, okay, well, let's see what she's going to do. 'Cause
Yeah.
and that's kind of, like
That's
when
true.
I started doing this because of, my field was, changed, meaning my
Totally opposite.
totally different. But I, knew early that working for myself was something that I would be doing because it was I always ended up being the manager or the head of the whatever I was doing very quickly. So,
Right.
and it felt like a weird place to be. So I'm like, all right. So when I did construction, I really enjoyed that. I probably would have never left doing that. I really liked it. But
Mhm.
apparently the universe had other plans, and so did
Right.
I about my purpose. So those were all fabulous. Those helped me, like to be able to do that and go to school, start school for architecture and all those things. But when, you get into an accident and you have no memory and you can't do something, and I say to you guys all the time, be careful what you put out there. I used to
so
say,
true.
I was going to school, raising kids, doing so many things, being a wife, mama, going to school at the same time, running a business, running 2 businesses. It was a little over the top. See,
Mhm.
that's what I mean about my crazy. I mean, I would go to bed every night at 1 o'clock in the morning and wash the floor and then get up at 5. And like I'd have to wash the floor before I went to sleep. I was into, the insanity of my perfectionism. Thank God it's not that bad anymore, but geez. But anyhow, the point being is that there was a point that I was doing that over and over that I said, I just can't do this anymore. And I couldn't figure out how to change it. I couldn't figure out, like, what was I going to take out? There
Right.
wasn't one thing I could take out. I can't take out being a good mom. I can't take out being a wife. I can't take out going to school. I can't take out doing my job. I can't take out. So what the hell are you taking out? And that's where you like run into that wall.
Right, and you can't take out doing the cleaning thing because then your environment gets all stressful if that's not organized.
So there was nothing I could take out. In my mind, there was nothing I could
Right.
take out. I didn't step back at the time. I wasn't able to at that point to step back and be like, well, maybe there's a different way I could do this. Like maybe I do school less. Maybe I do, and I was only taking a couple of classes because I could only take a couple. Maybe I do school less, or maybe I do less building at this point, or maybe I do like what's the thing that's most important? What do I need to do? And of course, there wasn't even an option. It was like, nope, I have to do all these, and I have to do all these 120%.
Right.
And there was different ways I could have done it. And so in saying like I can't do this anymore, I didn't actually mean literally.
Right.
I didn't. I meant there's got to be another way to do this, but I'm not sure what it is, and I couldn't figure it out at the moment because when you're in it, it's so hard to see it, and you're so overwhelmed. So in having that accident, it took it out. Like it was like, well, you can't do this anymore.
Definitely manifested.
Yeah. If I remember the intensity of the way that I used to say that, the feeling of it, because I was so shot, I was so tired,
Right.
and there was nothing that I would let slide. So my assignments had to be done on time, and they had to be good, and my work had to be good, and the kids had to be good, and the house had to be good, and like no matter what I was doing, it had to be the
Yeah.
best you could do. When sometimes the best I could do would be like, I can't move,
Yeah.
but that wasn't an option.
Right, because then you forget that self-care is part of that, because you don't
Yeah, that's
add
the
that
thing I
in.
didn't learn.
Yeah.
Like that's the part where the self-care part, which is the part that I'm trying to learn, like still trying to learn, because I do way too much a lot of times. Now though, I'm way more aware of it and will stop. And,
right. You're like,
and
oh crap, I feel like I have to do 10,000 things. Let me not.
yeah. Well, there's things that you have to do, and then there's things that you would like to do,
Right.
and it's like, how do we do the things that we have to do easier? And how do you use them? Like, that's why I'll step back and get like, okay, so how can I get this done? And then not be hard on yourself when you can't get them all done.
Right. That is what I'm working on.
Yeah, that's a
'Cause
tough one.
that is really hard for me because, and you know what it is too, and this is so not good, and I'm realizing this now, is because I'm used to your level of productivity, Nicholas's level of productivity, my level of productivity. That's abnormal.
The people that we're around.
The people that we're around that have a normal person's amount of productivity seems like laziness.
Yeah, it seems
So-
bizarre to us.
So I accidentally catch myself, being really hard on the people I'm around sometimes, being like, well, maybe I don't like push them at, actually, but like in my mind, I was like, wow, why is this person
Not doing anything.
not doing anything? What's going on? Then I think about it, oh, because they have work today. So they're actually taking their personal time to zone out. Whereas like for me, I'm like, what is that? What
Right.
is that? Like, you're doing nothing? That's
And sadly,
wasteful.
sorry that you got that from me and the people that you're around, but that's how, in growing up, that was like
right.
the way that you saw. I mean, I worked, like when I said what I did, that was normal productivity to me.
Right. Like
So you guys would all see that as
right.
there's
Okay.
a level.
Here's a good example. This is how I see this. Okay. So you know how if you owed someone money, if you borrow money from someone, the next time you get money, that money is not yours. That money goes to that person because you owe that to them, right?
Well, that's what you think. Not everyone thinks that.
Okay. Well, that's how I think that. So if someone owes me money, when they get paid, first that money comes to me, and then the rest is theirs because that's not their money. That's my money still, right? So, anyways, I think about that with time.
Mhm.
So if there's things that need to get done and free time opens up, that time's not free. There's already a thing that's supposed to be happening in that time because, like, that time's
I
already
love the way our brains work.
that time's already been decided for you. Oh, I have to do my taxes. I have a free hour between. Oh, someone canceled. There's an hour that's open right now. I better get some taxes started. Like, not like, oh, let me just go ahead and maybe take my nail polish off and like file my nails for a minute because I have some downtime. That would never cross my mind. That only crosses my mind when I stab myself in the forehead doing a ponytail. Like, I just, you know what I mean? Like,
And I could tell you, it's, it crosses my mind when it's like 11 o'clock at night and I'm like, oh, I have to get my nails done. Now, why wouldn't
Yeah.
it cross our mind to go get our nails done?
Because it takes too long.
Because it takes too long, which is where it's funny. It's like, why is that not a thing yet? But those are the things that we're talking about working on. Like, everyone
Right.
has their stuff, and that's not just. There's plenty of other stuff, but those are
Yeah.
things that, like, no, we have to learn how to, because
Relax.
our level is so high, and because we're so sensitive. So my
Right.
sensitivity, and I could feel everyone, that feeling of feeling like they're lazy and they didn't get stuff done is very
Right.
rampant. Like, a lot of people feel like they're not getting stuff done, or they're behind, or they should have had this done. Or, so
Right.
I feel that, and I go do stuff.
Right.
I'm
I've been feeling so many things lately. Oh, well, actually, let's talk about manifesting things for a second.
Mhm.
And with the car, not wanting the car. So my friend here, with his old Camry, kept saying, I don't want this car. I hate this car. I'm over it, over it, over it. Did not like it. It was having all these problems. What happens? Manifests a major car accident.
totals the car.
Totals the car.
Luckily, he was okay.
Luckily, thank God he was okay. But a month before this, I said to my mom, I feel like I don't know what it is, but I feel like something's going to happen. Like, I feel like there's going to be like some type of accident. It's like I don't feel safe in my car. Like, I feel like I'm not going to have my car. Like, I don't know why, but I keep feeling like I'm not going to have my car. Lo and behold, who's borrowing my car?
See, we're not exactly sure how it's going to manifest, but we got to be careful, because what you're putting out, it's like, okay, at the moment you don't have your car; it's being borrowed.
It's being borrowed. I'm off today. I want to drive my car. Home Slice over there has to go to work, which means he needs my car. So I, have a day off to enjoy my car that I'm not able to drive.
Well, you are. I mean,
Yeah.
you could take, as you said, Home Slice to,
Yeah.
to work if you wanted to, and then pick them up later, so you
Yeah.
could drive your car. But the point being is that, wow, it was like he kept saying that, and he felt that very strongly. And he didn't mean, when he said that, he didn't mean totaling his car and doing that in that situation. And
Right.
he was very lucky that no one got hurt, and that he didn't hurt anyone. And that
Oh,
no
yeah,
one
when
else
you
got hurt.
play ping pong across 95.
Yeah.
Yeah, you better, thank God.
Yeah, thank God. And that he wasn't hurt worse than that. But the point being is that be careful, because our manifestation skills are freaking good, and they work really well in the negative, because that's more of our energy. Like, we're so intense on the
Well, that's because
what we don't want.
Yeah, because we're thinking.
We're so intense on the I don't want this. And the universe does not hear. I don't know why it doesn't hear it like that. It doesn't hear I don't want. It hears I want, because the energy is like so much like you're wanting something. It doesn't hear the don't.
Right.
So you got to put it in the positive. It would be like, I want a new car.
Instead of saying I don't want this.
And you don't even
car.
want to say wants, because then you're left wanting.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah.
So you say, I have a new car.
Yeah.
Or I'm in the process of getting a new car. So at least you're, like letting the universe know, okay, we're in the process. It's going to take me 2 weeks to get the new car, or whatever you put out, so the universe can help you do that. And you did that little thing.
With the money?
Yeah, with the money, which we had a class.
That's funny. Well, so in my head, right before you said that, in my head
You heard it.
I heard
I heard it. That's how I heard it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That's how I heard it.
Yeah.
So the thing about, manifesting stuff was, a couple years back we were doing a group class, and when we were doing the group class, just as an exercise, I said, all right, everyone, what's an amount, because they were talking about money and how to create more and create more abundance. And I said, well, what's an amount that you guys can believe that could just pop in? And everyone decided like 500. Like 500 could be an amount
500,
that
yeah,
they
it's
could
like
believe.
a lot of money to just be given, but it's not an unrealistic amount.
Right, it doesn't
yet.
feel like too extreme, too crazy.
It wouldn't be like asking for like $1,000 or $10,000. Seems like people might not believe that.
It was harder for them.
Yeah.
So that's why I went, all right, let's go with whatever you guys are comfortable with. And 500 was the comfortable, right? So I'm like, okay, so we're going to just put out that $500 comes in out of nowhere.
Yep.
Like as a gift to you out of nowhere. Just put it out to the universe, thank the universe, know that it's coming, and let it go.
Yep.
And just know that it'll show up. And we'll give it a time, within the next month.
Mm-hmm.
I think we gave it a month time.
Something like that.
Something like that. And
And you
each
have to
person,
forget about it, though.
and then, no, they forgot about it because it was
Yeah.
like, all right, let it go. They forgot totally about it because remember, we're setting an intention, we're putting it out, and then we're letting it go.
Mm-hmm.
And then nobody's thinking about it. Like,
Right,
I mean,
'cause
like,
no
they're
one-
all going about their...
Well, because no one actually thinks that's a real thing.
Right. So it's like, okay, let's do this.
So
put
there's
it
no
out.
weight. There's
There's
no
no
negative
weight.
on
There's
it.
no nothing pulling on the other side.
Right.
So they all do it. And every single person it happened for, and it happened differently. Somebody got a check that they didn't know from their insurance company, a $500 and something check.
Right.
Somebody got, like somebody gave them $500 as a gift.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was every single person, whoever was in that group, within that month, got $500 out of freaking
Some weird way
that they would not.
Someone was asked to do like an extra job or something. Weird thing, yeah.
That was, where they made in. It wasn't necessarily exactly 500, but it was either exactly 500 or a little bit over or a little bit less.
Mm-hmm.
But they knew it was that.
But they just got extra money somehow.
And they knew it was that.
Yeah.
And they knew that that's what and then they realized and they went, oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead, talk about what you
so
did. so I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Like,
so I remembered.
So it popped into your head.
So it popped in my head. So I remembered this exercise. This is maybe like 2 months ago or something. I was like, oh, that $500 exercise we did, like, I want to try that again. I haven't done that in a really long time. And I thought about it and I just put it out there. I'm like, I would like that to happen again. Like
yeah, because you kept being behind. Remember how you were saying, like,
yeah, because my money stuff was like on a weird off cycle. Like normally
it flows pretty well.
it flows okay, but somehow I got like in the middle of my cycle where the bills were due when I only had half the right amount, and it just got like wonky. So
instead of you stressing and worrying about it because you knew it was coming and...
Right, yeah. So I'm like, I know I have money floating out there for jobs. I just need to get paid for it yet, but, whatever. So anyway, so this $500 thing popped into my mind. I was like, oh, okay, I'll put it out there. Like, I want the $500 to come. I put it out.
And you didn't say want.
I didn't say want. No, I didn't say want. I just said I'll get the $500. And
so
then,
how did you say it so that people can do it?
Okay. I thought in my head, I see the $500 in my head. I picture it being just in my bank. Like it's just extra that I didn't, do an extra thing for. It just is in there. Like it just all of a sudden is in there. And then
and then you thank the universe.
And then I thank
it.
and I thank the universe, and then I let it go. And I just say I will have the $500 and that's it.
And then did you give it a time? Did you give it a month?
I didn't give it a time at all. I didn't think about it because you know what it was? It wasn't a very planned out thought.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a quick like, oh, I remember that exercise. Like, let me do that again. Like, I'm just going to think really quick, that I'd like this.
Right, that
again.
This is what we're going to do. This is what we're putting out.
Yeah, and it was just like the quickest like thought. It was like a throwaway thought.
Mm-hmm. But you already knew that it had worked because it had worked for you before.
Right, yeah.
So the throwaway thought was, I'm going to let this go because I already know it works.
Right, yeah. Yeah, it was just like the quickest thought, and it had no like emotion, attachment, energy, nothing behind it. It was just like it popped in my head as a memory that it worked and that I'd like it to happen again, and that was the quickest little thing, right? So then maybe like a month later or something, I get a check for one of my jobs that I was waiting to get paid for that had an extra $500 in it. And I was like, did they overpay me? Like, what is this in there? And then, like, I realized that, like, the way the scheduling worked out, like, it was, like, a holding fee that I had gotten that I didn't know I was going to get. And I didn't plan.
Right, that you didn't plan on.
That I didn't plan on. And I was just like, what? That's just awesome. And then I was like, you know what? I'm like, I wonder if it'll happen again. Let's do it. Let's
try it again.
Let's try it again. That's my extra $500. I'm like, let's try it again. Like, not thinking that it was going to happen. And then on one of my other jobs, like a regular day, doing my job, my friend, she's like, so guess what? I have some good news. I'm like, what's that? She's like, I'm doubling your pay today. I'm like, what?
Now, it's not like you haven't worked with this person for years, and that's never happened.
I've worked with her for so many years, and it turned out that, like, just because we were shooting a couple extra things that day, she was like, well, I don't actually think it's fair that they're getting all this extra, footage and these extra like jobs on our end. So I asked us to get paid twice. So
Which you were totally not
expecting. So there was my extra 5 there too.
There was your extra 500.
I was like, what do you mean? $1,000 in a day? Could that be every day?
But do you know what I'm saying? Like that.
Wait. That is every day.
That is every day.
Is every day.
whatever it is, that you want it to be, and it has to feel comfortable. So it's hard. Like when we talk about like putting out $500,000, you're going to get $500,000. Most people ain't believing that.
Yes.
It depends on your level around money and how.
Remember, money is cotton.
Money
is cotton with people's faces on it. Benjamin Franklin looks very disapproving for some reason, too. I'm not sure why.
Maybe he was trying to be regal when he took that picture.
Know.
I don't know. I don't know either.
I don't know.
I don't really like think of the faces on. I don't really even look at them. I don't know if other people do. They may. Every once in a while, you look at them and go, "Huh, that's an interesting photo."
Yeah, but anyway, so this worked for me, again, it's like it's the manifestation thing. It's not because it's a money thing. It's because it's a manifestation thing that had like no negative weight attached to it.
Right, because there's nothing on the other side that you were thinking about.
Right. It also was because it wasn't real and it was so light, and I had whether it happened.
But that's the point of the manifestation, right? It's like there's nothing in the way of it. It's a clear shot. And you didn't have any, because it had already happened, you had belief in it, that you knew that it happened, but you also didn't have any weight on it. Right. It was like you just knew.
Right, there was nothing riding on it. Like, it's not like, oh man, like I hope I can get out of this thing because, gosh, if I don't get $500 extra, like I'm gonna, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like a negative thing behind it.
It didn't come up with worry and fear.
Right.
That if I don't get this $500, then shit, I'm not gonna be able to pay my bills or something. Because normally when we're looking for that, like, we're short something.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we're short something.
Meanwhile, I was still short.
Meanwhile, you were still short, but you weren't worrying about it.
I was still short. I wasn't worried. It's like, because I always know. It's like, you have to have, like, it's like, there's this, and I kind of use this personal experience as an example. So, around Christmas time, I got this nice gift of, like, a china pot thing with, like, 4 little teacups. And I'm carrying them downstairs to put in the sink to clean. And they were up in the room with the Christmas tree. And in my head, I had this feeling of, one of these glasses is going to fall and it's going to break. Like, I should not try to walk down with all of these. I can take 2 trips. It's not that far to the sink. But for some reason, my head was like, no, you can definitely make it in 1 trip. Why go back up and down the stairs twice? I don't know why I thought this. So, but it was this, like, weird, like, knowing in my gut that was like, if I do this, it's going to drop. For some reason, I ignored it. Broke the glass. Now I only have 3 to my set of 4, and it's really annoying. But that feeling of the knowing. But that's the knowing. That's your intuition. That's the intuition, and that's the knowing. So that's like this.
That's the difference.
That's the difference. So that's this gut feeling of, when I say something, I say it and I think about it. I'm like, do I have this feeling of this is gonna go well. This is gonna, this is the right thing. And I'll put that I can't put that feeling to it, but
no, does that feeling come up?
But does that feeling come up? Yeah, that's not a feeling that you can apply. That's just like you have to listen and see if you can feel that.
Right, and that's getting to know the difference between a feeling that is a belief-proving feeling or your intuition, a knowing, your connection to your higher self, to universe, to however you call God,
Right. But so that's why I was getting nervous about the car thing, because I kept having that feeling of like something's happening and I feel like I'm not going to have my car. And I don't know what it is.
Right. So you weren't really driving your car.
And I wasn't driving my car. I was feeling nervous. Something was going on. I didn't know why, but I just kept getting that feeling. So I said it out loud because it tends to dispel things. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, because a lot of times we'll talk about it. Like if I'm having a feeling like that, I'll say it out loud, and then it helps it to be like change. It actually helps change it, because not everything is set in stone.
Right.
It would be like if you, listen to the gut feeling that you had about the glasses, about let me take 2 trips. It wasn't set in stone that you had to break it.
But I also would have never learned
Right.
that's what the feeling of like the gut knowing is. Because
Right.
that's when I learned what that was. Because I acknowledged that feeling and thought about it and really like felt that. And then when it happened, I was like, oh, I just learned a lesson over my cup here.
Yeah. And you've had it enough times, like you've had it happen enough times, but that's the time that it really sunk in that it was your gut feeling, that it was your knowing, and that you heard it loud enough.
Yeah, I heard it loud then.
Yeah, and then you said, and we do it all the time. I know, like when I hear it from them, like when I was going to get on the highway that time, and they said, no, take the back roads, and I'm like, no, the highway's much faster.
Right.
No, the highway's, so I'm having this whole conversation. No, highway's so much faster. And I went on the highway and sat in dead stop traffic for 2 hours.
Right.
Because something happened on the highway, and they're telling me take the back roads.
Right.
And I'm going, and it was a no, like it was a clear, that was my guides telling me. And it was clear.
It was like, hey, asshole.
Yeah.
Do you want to sit? You don't have enough time as it is. Do you want to sit in the car for 2 hours?
And God forbid, like I have to tell you, sitting there for 2 hours, as soon as you saw the traffic, your head went, oh my God, why didn't I listen? Like it's like one of those things. You're like, oh my, why didn't I listen?
This is why I always GPS myself to places I even know, because I'm like, I don't want to sit in rush hour, or I don't want to sit in dumb traffic. So like if I'm going like even like a town over, I'll like look at my phone really quick to make sure there's no shenanigans happening, because with the way the world is, everything's a shenanigans now.
Yeah, everything's a shenanigans. We should call it, we live in shenanigans.
No, we live in a snow globe, and they think it's funny to shake it sometimes.
I think they shake it all the time. I don't think I think they got over it funny once in a while. I think it's like, let's keep shaking it. Or someone keeps going by and going like, you know what, that's settled down, shake it. It looks so much better shooken. It looks pretty. Look at that snow.
We live in an emotional joke of a snow globe.
Oh my God, it's insane.
Don't even know.
And feeling crazy all the time. Just so people know, like this feeling of feeling crazy, like where your emotions are all over the place. When I tell you, like, we are so more sensitive and picking up each other.
I actually like it, because I normally am very emotionless.
Well, I don't, because I already have enough emotions. Thank you very much. So this exhausted, feeling like so tired all the time from the emotions, the energy, like it's exhausting me. Now the
it's
good
a roller
news,
coaster, a fun ride.
Yeah, it's a fun ride.
Good time.
It's
enjoy it, like it.
And that's what it is. It's like trying to figure out, like, okay, so what do I need to do, and then do it.
You just
and
laugh.
that's the resting. You know, that's also the resting. Taking some time, to be like, you know what, I need to take a nap.
Right.
Now I don't normally take a nap, but I can't do this. I'm going to fall over. So what do I need to do? And why isn't it okay that I do that instead of the other thing that I have to do?
That's the thing I think that a lot of people need to work on is scheduling themselves into their day. Because
and we've talked about this
we've
before,
talked about
because
this,
we have this, like we have this really bad, but and the time thing is so fast.
Yes.
Like the fact that a year went by since Nicole passed,
I know.
my niece, is insane.
I feel her so strong all the time.
Me too. And I always think it was 5 minutes ago.
Right.
There is no time, like a year did not happen.
No.
In no way.
It looks like it did in my face, though.
It looks, It looks like it. No, it looks like it did by the calendar.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like it did by anything else.
Yeah.
You know, if you're looking at the days. I don't know what day it is. I miss everybody's birthday.
Right.
I did it again the other day with little Pat. I was like my nephew.
I also missed that then. Oh, good.
Yeah. So.
Oopsies.
And the sad thing was that I'm like, I know his and then I didn't know what day it was, and then I was busy with work, and then I saw it the next day.
16?
16, yeah. So he's going to be able to.
I missed his 16th birthday.
Oh my
such
God.
a bad cousin.
Yeah, it's like one of those things where you're like, oh God. So
I'm a great cousin.
Yes, you're a great cousin.
I am a great cousin.
Yes, you're a great cousin. But that's what I'm saying. Like those are the things where.
You have to say it 3 times. I am a great cousin.
Well, it's like when we say, negative
cancel,
shit, cancel. You got to put that out 3 times.
Right.
But that's actually the point, isn't it? It's like
Right. Time is moving so perfect.
Yeah.
Time is moving so perfect.
It is.
Time is moving so perfect.
And I accomplish everything I need to do in a day.
Yes.
Everything I want to do in a day. Whatever it is that you would like to get done, you can do. And that's why, like, having time work with you and asking time
Mm-hmm.
is actually important. Because
Yeah.
if the whole, getting caught in time is...
Well, sorry to cut you off, but
Mhm.
it's the manifesting thing. Because
Mhm.
if you're manifesting you being stressed out and not getting the thing done, oh crap, like this is going to take me 5 hours to do this thing. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Of course it's going to take you 5 hours to do the thing. You just told yourself it's going to take you 5 hours to do the thing.
And then it does.
Yeah, and then it does. Instead of being like, oh, well, okay, like, this should happen in 3 hours, and then I'll be able to do this thing in the other 2 hours, and then you just, you got to, like, tell it, set it up to do the thing that needs to happen, and then, but remember that it's okay, you just, like, go slow and, like, relax and come into it, like...
And when you go slow and relax, it goes like you could get it done faster.
Mm-hmm.
It's when you're trying to rush that things screw up
And mistakes happen, and
yeah.
then you have to go back and redo it, and then it ends up taking that extra time because you're correcting things that...
Yeah, and a lot of times you don't know till later
Right.
that the mistake happened. Then you're like, wait, wait.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Why didn't that thing show up, or why didn't this happen, and you go, oh, I forgot to press the button. I forgot to.
Right. But then also too, though, the other thing that I think we have to work on with feeling confident in being able to manifest things, and with feeling confident in things going well, don't have that thought of, okay, so when's the other shoe going to drop? Because then, you know what I mean?
But that's something very common. If things go good,
Mm-hmm.
we get scared.
Right.
Because that's that level. If we stay in like a medium, lower level, then you feel safer. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, then you feel like, okay, well, if we're here, then I'm safe from the bad.
Right.
If I'm safe from the good.
If I'm really, really productive and doing a really good job, and my money flow is nice, and my relationships are doing really well.
Oh, that's not going to last.
What
How's
is
that
going to happen next? Some
right, because
crazy
it would
thing.
be almost like you start to get used to that, and then you expect that.
Mm-hmm.
So once you expect that, the shit hits the fan. It's like
Right.
it's coming. It's like it can't stay like this. But bad can stay like that forever.
Right.
It's like there's no end on the crap ass shit.
Right. Well, here's the thing, though. Things can always get worse. Things can always get better. So
They're always doing it.
they're always fluctuating. So
They're always
if
fluctuating.
you're in the headspace of thinking that you're in the better, make that your medium.
That would be nice.
Put that as your medium, so that
but
way...
that's not what we're used to doing.
Right.
But understanding that, okay, if we're afraid of good things
Mm-hmm.
happening, then good things can't happen or stay.
Mm-hmm.
Because we get scared that it can't
Right.
stay.
Right.
Instead of it being like, wait, does it make sense that things going along smoothly, like, yes, things are going to happen,
Right.
but does it have to be that we help make them happen?
Right.
Like, we need to feel more comfortable in that space of good things are happening, and good things happen more so than bad things happen.
Right. Well, also, too, like, when things happen, good or bad, I always...
And they're not good or bad. They're
Right.
all part of learning.
Right, yeah. That's what I say, too, is like, okay, if something happens and I'm feeling, not the best about it, everything happened for a reason and there's a purpose. So I'm like, okay, why did, like...
Now, granted, we don't like it.
Yeah, you don't like it. Like, okay, like, why did this thing happen? I don't know yet. I don't know what I'm learning from it yet. I don't like it right now, but there's a reason. What is the reason?
Right.
So...
And that's part of the problem. Like, we want the why.
Mm-hmm.
We want the why, and a lot of times we don't get the why. We may get the why way later,
Right.
or we may not get the why while we're here.
Yeah.
Like Nicole passing. We may not get that why while we're here.
Yeah.
That may not be something that we're going to get while we're here. But to me, there's always a reason.
Because that seems insane to me.
Right.
But also, because I can feel her so strong, she, like I can feel her with me a lot. Like, a lot. So actually, to me, doesn't, like, even though I can't, like, see her and, like, go do things with her, I'm doing things with her all the time.
Right. I was going to say I feel her around a lot, too. So doing things with her and stuff. It's not the same because it's, you don't
Right.
see the person the same way, and you don't get to hug them the same way, and you do like them in their body. But when you feel them, and they're going with you and doing things with you, then you do feel like they're with you all the time.
Yeah, and it's that weird thing. It's that weird feeling of that, like, knowing, that gut knowing that I had when I dropped the glass.
Mm-hmm.
It's that with the person's energy.
Right.
That's what that's what it feels like. It's like I don't know how else to describe it other than it's like that gut knowing.
Yeah, you just know it's her.
It's that
you
gut.
just know.
It's that gut knowing attached to that person's feeling. It'd be the same thing. Like if you had a bunch of family over, and that person was in the room, and they didn't talk yet, you'd know that they're there because you could feel them.
Mm-hmm.
But so it's like it's that feeling of, even though she's not physically here, like you still know.
Right. You still know that she's here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool.
I know.
Yeah.
It's a really interesting feeling because you're right. If there's people in the room, you don't necessarily have to talk to all of them to know who's in the room.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for the most part, if you know, the person's in the room, like you know who's in there.
Yeah.
You didn't talk to all of them yet, but you can feel them very strongly, and you know that they're there.
Right.
And that's, where when you kind of relax a little bit and just allow yourself, it's so hard, like when you're in grief to feel that, for people to be able to get through that barrier because we're so in shock.
Right.
But when they're able to, then you can feel them so much stronger, and it's really comforting. It's very comforting to feel that the person is able to be with you. And Nicole went to the other side.
Right.
It's not like she's stuck here on Earth.
You mean
and
how
she's
she stuck
around.
on to me for the first
Yeah, but she's not here.
month? Yeah, she hung out on me for the first month.
Yeah, but she's not here. We, made sure that she was moved into the light. But that's one of those things. It's just because the person, you can feel them, doesn't mean they're stuck.
Right.
On
right.
The,
yes.
on the
exactly.
planet.
Yeah. They still moved on, except for that time that she decided she wanted to wear my body and break my skin out. And thanks. Love you too, Cole.
Well, that was her getting it to trying because she always wanted to be like you.
Right.
So she was trying it out.
Yeah.
Now she may not have been as thrilled because you ain't thrilled. With
Right.
Oh, Holly had similar things as I. Oh, because we look at somebody else and think that they're so different or feel so different about themselves and about what they're doing that we don't actually know that they feel a lot of the same things that we do.
It's so true. Yeah, it's like the perception of how people see you versus the perception of how you see yourself are not synonymous.
No.
Not
even in the same realm.
No. People will be like, oh, I would love to have your body. Oh, you mean a short one that can't reach anything? That the world is made, like I sit in a chair and my feet dangle? You want that body? Like the world is not made for someone my size. I mean, no, you don't. All pants will forever not have a bell bottom because I have to cut that part off. Thanks.
We're so tough on ourselves. We need to just accept us the way that we are.
Yeah.
We suck at this. We really do. Well, I think it's time to say goodbye for this podcast, and we will hopefully get to do another one sooner because you're almost done with your shoot,
yes,
right?
we wrap and
guys, don't forget, subscribe, please, so that more people, share us, so that more people.
So if you're hearing this, chances are you might be subscribed already. So you should tell people who do not know that we exist yet to do the subscription
because
part,
we do this, we take the time out to do this for you, and we do this so that people have an understanding about what's going on in the world and different tools and stuff that they can use and feel better about themselves and know that they're not alone, and that it doesn't have to be the way that it feels right now, and that there's a bunch of other things you can do, which is one of the reasons why I do sessions and classes and this podcast being one of those things to help people.
And and if anyone has any topics that they're feeling that they need to learn more about or they want to talk about or something, you can email my mom
and you also have, we have a Facebook page,
What is it? What's the Facebook?
It's the name of the podcast. This is Only Your Life.
Yeah, okay. So that's
so
the
we
Facebook
have a Facebook page. We have the iTunes. We have it on SoundCloud. And
what's the name of it on these things?
This is Only Your Life.
Yep, so This is Only Your Life.
So This is Only Your Life is, on all those.
Yeah.
And wherever you find us, share us so that other people can, help whoever needs the help. share it so that other people can hear it.
Yeah. And really, though, if you have something that you want us to talk about, message my mom and we'll get it in there, because we do want to talk about things that are going to help people too.
Absolutely. Well, I hope everyone is riding out the storm as peaceful and calmly, and know that hopefully that as we go through, things start to get a little bit lighter and everyone starts to feel a little bit better, and things will start to fall into place a little bit more. But remember, you're manifesting. So be careful of what your thoughts are. Pay attention to what you're putting out there, and try to take care of yourself. Really, self-care is going to be very important.
If you talk to yourself,
Right, like we talked about before.
Yeah, you got to talk to yourself careful.
If you talk to other people the way you talk to yourself, you'd probably be arrested.
Oh, I was going to say, if you talk to your friends like how you talk to yourself, you probably wouldn't have any.
Well, same type of thing.
Yeah.
All right, what's our ending there, Halls?
Toodles.
Toodles. Have a wonderful rest of your weekday till I'm going to say see you again, but we don't see you until you hear us again, because we don't hear you.
Unless you email us.
Unless you email us. Have a great one.
Bye.
Toodles.